Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Do Nothing Project for Sunday, May 31st. Hope you guys are all well. You've never been to the Do Nothing Project before? Good to keep the expectations low, especially tonight. We don't really do very much. And in fact, it's come to my attention that maybe I've been doing too much. There's been too much something in this project that's supposed to be about nothing. So I've decided to begin to pare it down even more this evening, to get rid of the attempt at decent lighting. That's totally gone now. And to get rid of the bell. And a little less talk. Fewer prompts, and less FaceTime. So I'm going to just sort of take myself over to the side here once the Do Nothing officially begins, which has already begun. If you've never been, you can mute me if you want and just sit and do nothing, which means just stare out the window, maybe stare at a wall, maybe doodle, maybe meditate. That's what a lot of us here do. The bare, true, just sitting and doing nothing, just being, is kind of the ground of meditation. So whether you realize that or not, when you're letting yourself just sort of be, I guess there is a little deliberateness around not necessarily deliberately feeding the anxious making thoughts, the planning, kind of seeing if you can let that go a bit or happen in the background. And in the foreground, just practice noticing that you exist and kind of surrendering into that a bit. So that's what we're going to do. If you like, you can do this with your eyes open or closed. I'm going to do mine eyes open. This time, I'm just going to kind of look out the window here and just watch the scenery. And so I invite you guys to do the same, or with the eyes closed. I'll do some very, very loose prompts around the kind of meditation piece if you're interested. But again, if you want it to be more purely a true do nothing, you can just mute me. All right, so let's do this. And now my disembodied voice will float in and say, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Len. Thanks to my team for working so hard to make absolutely nothing happen. Okay, so settling into our period of true nothingness, where productivity goes to die. I like to take a few breaths to get myself organized here, to prepare for my plunge into complete lassitude. Stretching up on the inhale. Finding some alertness, because after all, I do want to stay at least awake. This is not quite falling asleep. Not really, not at all, actually. And then in the out breath, that's the settling. Just softening the eyes and the forehead and kind of landing in my seat. And the primary do nothing muscle that we make sure we're exercising always, at least in every broadcast, is this muscle of, call it the equanimity muscle, the no big deal-ness muscle, the welcoming muscle, the opening muscle. It just means that whatever's going on in your environment, whatever's going on in your local reality, whatever sounds might be there, whatever sensations, whatever sights, you're going to just let them be there. You're not going to brace against them or wince or turn away. Instead of getting rigid and bracing, or instead of getting hedonic and trying to grab onto them, we're going to do this middle way, which is just being so open. The sights and the sounds and the sensations, they just sort of pass right through us, pass right by. And then we just sit with ourselves, enjoying our own company, enjoying this quiet moment at the end of the day. We don't have to be anywhere or go anywhere or do anything or be anything. No goals to arrive at. And it helps to just lightly pay attention to a breath or a particular sound, and of course that's always available. Or pay attention to a movement or the act of doodling or drawing, a sight. Anything can be sort of a home base. And you can't do it wrong because there's nothing to get wrong. This is just pure being practice. Nothing much at all going on here. Just letting the nothing unspool. The path of nothing is to get still, just to listen. And the mystery finds us. It's resting back in awareness. If the mind wanders, you're often thinking, it's okay. Just notice it. You can choose then if you want to keep daydreaming or if you want to come back to whatever's unspooling in the present, the senses, in the visual field. Maybe the eyes are closed. There's still the kind of liquid lava lamp like fuzziness behind the eyes. The eyes are open. Maybe it's the breath you're with, or sounds, the hum of some air conditioner vent. course, meditators have long figured out that the more going on, the more sounds and sights and sensations and movement and stimulation, the busier it gets inside too. So this can also be an opportunity to sort of deliberately narrow the field a little bit. That's why people like to close the eyes or focus just on one sensation. As we narrow the field, we can get more quiet, more still. Although we can also get pretty still in the middle of everything too. The idea is it's almost like you're disappearing so that the world can take your place. Less and less of you in every moment. There's just a few minutes left. A few minutes of just sitting, eyes open and closed, just taking this opportunity to reset, just be a little less guidance this time around. But at the end, I'll give a little more. I want to finish with a compassion practice. Compassion starts with, it's all in the body. So much of it's in the body. And to ground in the presence of the body is a really good way to begin a compassion practice. So if you're not already, just sort of become aware of your body sitting with the feet on the ground, seat on the cushion, maybe your feet are tucked up under you, feeling the seat on the cushion, kind of making that connection, feeling the solidity of the body, the weight of the body, the sort of warm sensations in the chest and arms and legs, that sense of fullness and presence, feeling kind of your own presence, the space you displace. And there's the openness here too. There's this sort of grounded openness. The ground of compassion is this presence, is just being with someone who's having a hard time and not turning away, keeping your hands steady. And then from here, it's just like this flame that comes up through the center. And it can be quite subtle, just a sense of concern, letting yourself feel a sense of concern you may have for what's happening in the world, what's happening with people you know. You activate some warm concern. And some people like to use a phrase here, may you be well, or it depends. I kind of just like to, I prefer not to use a phrase, just to kind of notice my concern. And I'm sort of deliberately generating a bit of warmth through that. Sometimes it just feels more like that steadiness. Not trying to fix anything, but this deep act of witnessing, holding something with care. Maybe repeating a phrase. Sometimes it helps to, make it more embodied. So sometimes I'll hold my hand in a kind of caring way, hold the left hand curled on top of the right hand, or putting the hand on the heart, over the heart. That sense of touch kind of awakens that caring quality. And taking strength from your presence, breathing up from the ground, feeling this steadiness of the body. Of course, the steadiness is the fruit of the practice of just sitting and doing nothing. It allows us to reset, and maybe a flavor of that you can draw on. And that's our practice. Not much anything, really. It's good to see everybody. I can see a distance scrolling in the comments, but I see some familiar names. Melissa, Lauren, Johnny, Sandra, Schmitty, Candace, Holly, Fred, Gabrielle, Brian, Ann, Meg, Jennifer. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining me. Let me know how you like the even more pared down do nothing version. Always continuous improvement here in the Do Nothing Labs, trying to bring you less and less of anything. If you have any ideas about how to do even less, let me know. Good night, everybody.